Hi YouTubers! I thought I'd give you a quick update on my discus since I haven't done a video on them in a while. Here you're going to see two females fighting over territory. They are territorial, at least in my tank. My discus are pretty busy little fish. They don't just hover and do nothing, as you're going to see. And the Corycats are like real cats. In that they don't really pay much mind to the affairs of other creatures. They go about their business and do what they want, and they pay no mind to anybody's territory, because all places are alike to them. They're just like real cats. And these guys were just recently fed, so the discus are going around finding little tidbits in the gravel, which, as I've mentioned many times, is one of the reasons why I like substrate. I kind of think, I try to put myself in their shoes, so to speak. You know, what would I want if I was a fish? I would be bored to tears in an empty tank. Oh, we're going back to fighting over here. Let's watch them fight. It's a lot of posturing. Very, very rarely do they actually do any damage to each other. Sometimes they'll even lock lips. But they're fine. It's mostly just posturing. She wants to protect her little algae disc here. Now I put these algae in here for the Placo and the Corycats, but you know what? The discus like them too. Which goes to show that if your tank is pristine, they're probably not getting everything in their diet that they should. They do eat algae, and it makes sense that in the wild they would be eating it too. You can see the two males in the back there. Sorry for the glare. Whoops, I just scared one. Sorry, girl. Whoo, I scared her coming towards the tank. Trying to get rid of the glare. There's the snake skin. You can see him right there. He's just hanging out in the back. He's like, I'm staying away from those crazy females. Here's the turquoise. The turquoise is my most beat up fish, and you can see his back fins. He's looking raggedy. I don't know why, but recently everybody in the tank has been picking on him. He doesn't look sick per se. I mean, he's doing everything normally. He's eating normally. I'm not getting a good shot, but his eyes are bright and shiny. It's just his fins that look raggedy because they've been picked at. Well, he's okay. They go through stages. Sometimes they're more aggressive than others. And the Corycats are doing really good. They have had several breedings where they lay eggs. I'm not sure who's laying eggs or what, but we haven't had any babies. Because the discus eat the eggs. So that's that. What are you going to do? This tank is, you know, primarily about the discus. It's not about anything else. But, I mean, I try to take care of everybody equally. But when you have a discus tank, you got to focus on them. They're pricey fish. They're a little bit harder to keep. I'm trying to see if I can find the Placo. That Placo is the most elusive Placo that I've ever owned. And maybe somebody out there that has had a phantom Placo can comment on this, but are they normally super, super shy? Because this guy has never once been on the glass. He just lives behind the decorations in the back there. I see him fleetingly once in a while. I'll see him under here passing by. He hasn't seemed to grow much either. And he's eating. I see him eat. But he's just very shy and doesn't seem to be very active. And I have another Placo, which is a different kind of Placo, and I can't remember. It's just a big brown kind of standard Placo. Excuse me. And he's super active over in the goldfish tank, which I can go over there. Actually, I'll show you right now because he's right on the glass. See this guy? Right there. This guy's always out and about. See if I can get you a good picture. He's pretty big too. This is a 55-gallon tank over here, and he's probably a good 7 inches from snout to tail. He's a big boy. He's not shy. Not at all. He's really cool too. He has kind of a personality. My grandkids call him the shark. And here's the goldfish. There's Angel. She's like, what do you got for me? Where's my treats? She's so pretty. She is a pretty girl. They're all doing really good though. There's Pearl. Pearl was my little rescue fish that I got at a fish store for free. She's the one you can go back and see in the very first video I did of her. She's a little tiny thing, and she's orange, and she has fungus on her back fins. And she wasn't looking good at all. And now she's a little chub, and she's doing great. Her color changed. She turned all white. She's beautiful. She's a beauty. But everybody's doing good. You can see I don't have much substrate in this tank. I just have kind of a lot of glass, some crystals, stuff that they move around. And over here is the dark area. And this is the Pleco's favorite spot. There he is. He's a cool guy. But let's go back to the Discus and say goodbye to the goldfish tank. And we'll go right back over here. Sorry for the glare. It's a bright sunny day. Let's see what these guys are doing. I could watch these Corycats all day long. I mean, it just never gets old for me. They have the coolest little personalities. They're like little puppy dogs, I swear to God. When I change water, they literally have like a celebration where they just go crazy. They swim all around, they go up and down in the water column. They just get so excited. They love to like swim really fast in the current. So once a week these guys have fun. There's one of my cats gonna take up the whole screen. She's a big fat cat. Yeah, so back to the Corycats. These guys are cool. They're my little vacuum cleaners. Recently I saw another Discus enthusiast on her channel. She's downsizing her tank, and she had a big beautiful tank. It was empty aside from water and Discus, and she did water changes every day. Now, I don't know why she did that. I think it has to do with people on certain forums basically saying if you're not doing water changes every day, you're doing something wrong. And that, friends, is a modern myth. Is it good for when you have juveniles? Absolutely. Do you want to grow out big, healthy adult Discus and have them be their optimal size? Then yeah, you would want to do water changes every day for juveniles. Once they become adult, these guys are hardy. Look at my tank. I mean, I have substrate, I have algae, the glass isn't crystal clear. It's more of a normal tank. Like, I have 2 filters on this tank that do a lot of the work for me. I have a Pleco that's supposed to clean the glass, but he doesn't, so I still sponge the glass, obviously, once a week. The Corycats kind of help pick through the substrate. I have a very thin layer of substrate. Like, if I went in there and moved a little bit of, like, this glass right in front here, if I were to move that around, you would see the bottom of the tank. It's really thin. It's probably a little over a quarter of an inch thick. It's very thin. So it's easy to clean. I vacuum it once a week, and it's fine. I do about 75% water change once a week. And my discus have been living like this for, this is their 3rd year. So, there you go. 3rd year. I did water changes first in the beginning when they were really small, I did water changes every day. Then when they got a little bigger, I started going every other day. After about a year and a couple months, I'd say, I started backing it down to once a week, maybe twice a week. But what I did is I tested the water with my water testing kit, and I noticed that by day 5, I still was only getting a bare trace of ammonia and a bare trace of nitrate. I'm like, well, why am I doing water changes so frequently if I don't have to? Because I would take this tank up to 0.25 in ammonia and 0.5 for nitrates, and that's fine. That doesn't bother these guys at all. And as far as pH, I don't even test the pH. I mean, I did in the beginning, and my tap water was pretty close to what the tank was after a week, so I was like, hey, that's fine. They can handle little changes in pH too when they're adults. It's not as critical as everyone will have you believe. And if you look at some of the forums, the way people talk, oh my God, you're not doing water changes every day. That's why your fish are sick. That's why this is that, and blah, 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 blah. That's not always the case, guys. It's just not always true. Fish get sick for lots of reasons, and 9 times out of 10, it's because you introduce something into the tank with another fish. But here's an example of a tank that's been going for 3 years. It has all the same critters in it. I introduced those silver dollars, and that was a disaster. And that gives you a fine example of how you can really screw things up by adding new fish. But once your tank is well established and your fish are adults, and you've got a really good biofiltration with your filters and everything, there is no reason to do water changes more than once a week. Unless you really love doing water changes, then have at it, because they don't mind it. But in my opinion, my fish actually do better now with once a week water changes. They seem to like it. They like to be left alone and not bothered and not have everything stirred up. And once a week vacuuming, it does fine. I pull stuff out of the substrate. Yeah, there's detritus down there, and it can get a little bit yucky, but you know what? I got a really good python, and I've got good water pressure, and it just sucks it right up, and it's no big deal. Doesn't seem to be a big problem. So basically, I'm just trying to tell people, if you have adult discus and you have a good husbandry with your tank and your biofiltration, don't kill yourself over these fish. You still have to have a life, I have a really busy life, and I'm glad I only have to do this once a week. I mean, if I had to do water changes every day, I wouldn't have these fish, to be honest with you. I mean, I was willing to do that when they were babies, but now that they're adult, I got better things to do, and these guys are fine. Sometimes I'm a day late, and I feel bad. I'm like, oh, my poor fish, I'm a day late. They're fine. Like I said, the ammonia only gets up to, the most it's ever gotten up to is 0.25. And, that's higher than I want it, but it doesn't do them any damage. You just change the water. So, some people might not agree with me and think I'm not doing the very best I can do for my discus, and that's their opinion. I let the fish tell me. I let the water tell me. And the fish say they're happy, they're fine. So, I'm just going to keep doing what I do. She's a big fish. I gotta measure these guys again. She definitely is big. Oh, and somebody asked me in the comments about how do I keep these guys so yellow. And there is an additive that's found in a lot of fish food called, and I'm going to screw this up, I know it, it's called anathaxin or something. It's a long word. It's a additive that actually will, they call it a color additive, but what it is it's like a red additive, and it will bring out reds, which with yellow will make red and yellow make orange. So when I buy food, any kind of flake food, I make sure that there is no anathaxin or whatever it's called. You just have to be careful. And then I make my own fish food too, and I don't add any paprika. I make sure there's no red in it. So that's it. Hope everything's good with everybody, and wanted to show you my discus, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Take care, fish people.